God tells Solomon, whatever. Solomon replied, I want wisdom. God replies, because the preeminent concern is my kingdom, I'm going to show you what I do. Now, there are two systems. There's the world system and there's the God system. I want to give you this understanding. Write this down. There's the kingdom of darkness and there's the kingdom of light. These two kingdoms operate under very different principles. Very different. The kingdom of God operates under a system of giving and receiving, but the world system operates under a strategy of buying and selling. So, if I was to define wealth, it would come from that Deuteronomy 8:18. Hi. So when God gave Solomon all the wealth, it was now Solomon's choice to decide, will I keep this wealth under the kingdom of light or under the kingdom of darkness? Watch. Because some of you say, so if Solomon had all that wisdom, if Solomon had all that insight, how did he fall? Watch this. When God blesses you, you have to decide if you will use the blessing under the kingdom of light or under the kingdom of darkness. Because let me assure you, I've been there. Being big and having a lot of money attracts interesting characters. Mimi nakwambia ukweli, kuna njia watu operate wakiwa na chapa. I'm telling you in this church right now. Right now we know that if we look at Kenya, most of you are probably what we call middle income. You're even categorized. There's a group that's not categorized. They're not in that graph. And there's a way they talk. There's a way they walk. There's a way they meet. And there's a way they operate. Because they're operating on the kingdom of darkness system. Tunaelewana? And now there's the kingdom of light. So it is wealth. I want to help you catch this revelation here. Then we go home. Now, if this is the system, then what then is wealth, Reverend Julian? What is wealth? Honor is related to glory. So I'll give you honor. That's the word rich. The same rich that you saw with Abraham. I'll make you rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. Wealth is that which has intrinsic value because it is created by God. Son, give me my bag, my black bag. Watch this. I have some money in this bag. It's only this Sunday that I have money in this bag. Please catch my understanding of this so that you don't faint. Huh? Funga hiyo ingine isionekane. Sawa. This is $1,000. This sipati mtu. This is $1,000. This and this is 100,000. They are the same, but this pack is smaller, isn't it? Can you remove for me 10? Yeah. It's okay, let me remove for myself. You see, that's a lesson because most of you don't trust anybody with this, especially God. So this and this are the same. This is one note. These are 10. The Kenya shilling is reliant on the US dollar for value. I cannot know what this would buy if I was not basing it on the American dollar. Now, those of you who are economists know that in 2008, after the global economic crash, that they took the system of the dollar that used to be weighed against the intrinsic value of gold, and they decided to create a new code. As of last year, they've done away with that code. They were trying to put formulas of man to try and bring value to the dollar. It did not work because from time immemorial, the dollar has been based on gold. Man has to base the value of what he makes on the value of what God made. And God says, watch this, all the silver, all the gold, all of it Because man cannot make gold. Please hear me, church. All of it belongs to God. And the only way your employer, listen, what does God make? If God makes wealth, here's how God makes wealth. Gold. Abraham was extremely rich in cattle, in silver, in livestock, in land. The things God makes is how he blesses. Because God can't bless you with what man has made. God blesses you with what he has made. Now watch this. Catch this revelation. I'm still doing my illustration. So I don't have, no, it's for illustration. Modo Centro, Digoti Abia, Konyine Komoranga, Rimuru, Kiabu, there are a few Kiambu guys there. Don't put my bag down. Are you learning something? The intrinsic value of this. Now, let me assure you, I'll help you here from next time. But mammon cannot operate on what God created. Mammon can only operate on what man has made. That's why you struggle to give in church, because of the power that's behind what man has made. And when you lose inheritance, it is when you choose to take your inheritance of what God gave you and transfer it into the value of what man has given you. God didn't give you a job to get what man has given you. God gave you a person to hire you. Because God makes people. God holds the hearts of kings. Promotion doesn't come from the east or from the west. Even a bad boss will promote you when God has told him to. Are you understanding, church? So you have to trust that Jehovah is your source. Jehovah Jireh. God doesn't struggle to give you what man has made. God will give you. So Solomon tripped when he took what God had given him and converted it. What did Jesus say? People tried to trick Jesus. They asked him, what should we do? Should we pay tax? He said, you hypocrites, you're trying to trick me. He said, give me that. He asked, whose face is on this? I ask you today, whose face is on this? Men. These are men. All right? These are men's faces. He said, whose face is on it? He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. But give to God what belongs to God. My God. That means that if you want God to open doors for jobs, all he has to do is talk to people. You don't need to bribe anybody. You just need to do what is right. Which means when God gives you a channel to be a channel of blessing. Now, money in itself is not evil. Paul tells us that. It is not money that's evil. It is the love, the personality. Because God told Solomon, because your heart had decided this. He told Abraham, because of your heart. You see, you cannot deal with love if you're not dealing with the heart. So the problem is, God will not share his space with anybody. That's why you cannot serve God and mammon. The personality behind this makes you, that's why you can come to church and give 2,000 shillings and go to Pizza Inn and give 10,000 shillings. Same Sunday. Same Sunday. And in church you're like, hey. I have a question for you this morning. Who has your heart? Who has your heart? Because I remember as I close this story, when Pastor Zino was preaching, I think it was 2015, and I had just bought my wife, you know, these promises you make your wife from when you are young. When we make it, I will. And I remember that time God was testing me and testing us. And I said to her, yeah, your time has come. I'm going to buy you this. And I bought my wife, I can tell you this, not to try and impress you, but to help you understand something. I said to her, yeah, your time has come. I'm going to buy you. I bought her a gift. I bought her a car. And I bought her a beautiful BMW. Man, I love that machine. Sikumnunulia gari, nilimnunulia machine. And then we came to church, and I could tell the way the message was going. I was getting so upset. I'm like, Pastor Zino, why didn't you preach this when I had a dad son? Why? I remember it was Pastor Zino. And I told my wife, God is calling us to make a sacrifice. If you can put your knife on the thing and feel the pain of losing it, that is a sacrifice. Sacrifice is not what you give and you come out of there and say, Nikama du nimenunua mkate. No. Sacrifice will make you remove tears. I went home, I told my wife, baby, God has asked me to give the Mercedes. She said, Mercedes? The Mercedes is an old junk. How can you give God a car that needs to be repaired? I said, what are you talking about? I said, what are you talking about? She said, we give him what is brand new. I said, baby, you caught the wrong revelation. You caught the wrong revelation, baby. Your only son, whom you love. Christians, you think we're going to make a difference when we are holding back and not giving God what we love? We're not going to scratch the surface. That's why in Karen, 8 mosques have been built from Langata to the end of that road by one family. They love their Allah. One family is just building mosques. Some of them are not occupied. They say one day somebody will take them. You buy a chair for your church, you're like, great! Are you hearing what I'm saying? This year, God has promised me that he's going to release to us things we've never seen before. So when you hear me here going crazy about Beulah, it's because Beulah has land in it. What man can't give us? And most of you sold your birthright when you sold your houses in South B and South C and you took money from Somalia. And all of a sudden, mammon can now come and disturb us. Because as long as it is wealth that God has given, man cannot interrupt. Mammon cannot interrupt. But when now it becomes money, this is why you will find most of the inheritance in families, when it is cash, they will kill each other. It's easier for families to divide a plot of land than to divide money, because this spirit called mammon enters what man has made. It cannot invade what God has made. I'm going to pause here so that you digest all the stuff I've said today. But let me tell you something. I'm trusting God that we will give our children an inheritance that Satan cannot play with. I'm praying we will give the next generation things that they can go beyond building a church. That they go into a dimension to be able to handle. And that's why, where's my son Robin? Is he here today? Where is he? What God will bless on a man is the work of your hands. What is Robin? He's a mechanic. He builds with his hands. Don, what God is blessing right now in your life is not connections. The work of your hands is what is favored. That's why some will be craftsmen, others will be mechanics, some of you will be in salons. Baby, make that hair, twist those braids like they've never been twisted before. In that obedience will be breakthroughs. Are you hearing what I'm saying? There will be a performance in 2019. And I'm telling you, we will buy this building. I refuse, but my elders corrected me. They said, man of God, you told us first that we are buying this place. Let me tell you, there's nowhere our feet shall go that we shall not possess, because we are taking back territory. Right now, this is a territory owned by a different kingdom. I'm not giving it back to them. We take, and all the Greeks said amen. We are taking it by wisdom, understanding, because let me tell you, Once God is not making any more land. That's wealth. That's riches. And God says, if I cannot trust you with unrighteous mammon, how will I trust you with true riches? That tells you these are not true riches. These are notes with men's faces on them. And Kenyan ones are about to get buffaloes and rhinoceroses on them. Listen, we now enter another realm. And I want you to make a covenant today. I want you to say, Father, don't tell me, tell the Father, where my heart has been compromised by things to do with material wealth, I confess that I allowed anything to compete with that space. And today, I want you to take it all. I surrender it to you because I know man is not my source. You are my source. Worship and provision go hand in hand. I will go with a young lad yonder. We will go and we will worship, sacrifice, and then we will come back. Now I know, because you can let go of things, now I know I can trust you. I have a question for people here today. Can God trust you? Can he trust you? Does that job mean so much? Does that bank account mean so much that it's competing with the interest of God? Does that car mean so much that it's competing with God's interest? Let God do a new work in you. In 2019, let things change and let your priorities change. And let money never take a hold of your heart again. Because Job had lost everything. But with two rings, gold, he recovered. God can use what he has made to bring you back. And he gave him back, because it's God who was giving back to Job. He gave him back double of the things only God can create.